Meetings are an essential part of organisational life, but so often they cause despondency and despair, and every emotional reaction from apathy to anger. Such negative reactions often come from weak structures employed to steer proceedings, a collective lack of objectivity, and poor meeting technique. The data in this chart is taken from client surveys. There are two key points worth mentioning. Firstly, there are always 2 or 3 ineffective activities which account for around half the client's time spent in meetings. All clients exhibit the same profile. Secondly, only about 10 to 15% of time spent in meetings delivers any value on activities like making decisions, problem solving, or authorizing actions. Consider your own circumstances. How often have you left a meeting thinking that was really useful? I learned something new and of value. We solved a key problem, or we took a step forwards in deciding X over Y. Or do you more often than not have to endure lengthy discussions which come to nothing? Meetings with rudderless agendas, full of nouns and contemplative verbs, like review, discuss, report, and analyze. Are you a regular victim of excruciating PowerPoint presentations? Do you frequently witness the palpable relief of meeting participants when their agenda item is glossed over or fudged and their inaction or ineffectiveness goes unchallenged? Does it make you cringe to watch someone in authority allow this to happen time and again? The problem is that very few business meetings are structured objectively, so people have come to despair of meetings for all the wrong reasons. As a result, efforts to improve them tend to focus on creating rules and physical conditions that will govern how meetings are run, as if that will somehow enrich collaboration and performance. You've probably tried many such ideas to improve your own meetings. You'll have tried sit-down meetings, stand-up meetings. You've tried meetings with pre-published agendas. At some point, you've probably even timed each item to see if that can help move things along. You've tried running meetings without an agenda. No doubt, you've run meetings with formal presentations, and at some time or other, you'll have done away with presentations altogether. But none of these variations seem to improve meeting effectiveness. This is the typical cycle of despair that people experience when format triumphs over substance. Meetings are not an end in themselves, so it makes no sense to elevate the importance of procedural issues, room layouts, or other such inputs. First, you need to establish why you're meeting. And there are only a few legitimate reasons for holding a meeting. Maybe you need to formulate and agree some kind of action plan. Or perhaps you need to make a decision. What are the options, who should be involved, etc. Possibly, you have a problem that needs solving and you need to develop the most suitable countermeasures. Or you might meet with colleagues to generate a list of options in support of any of these objectives. Sometimes it's necessary to meet and take stock of a situation, to confirm where you are with an issue. Are we on the right track? Does this make sense? And of course you may be meeting to obtain authorization, to spend money, change something, or to proceed with a particular option. In other words, you need to get somebody's buy-in. Knowing why you're meeting and stating what you want to achieve helps to keep everyone's focus on the required outcomes and how to reach those outcomes. In order to improve meeting effectiveness, it makes sense to state the desired outcome right at the start, to set out what the meeting needs to achieve. In other words, what needs to be different by the end of the meeting. Such a move puts a stake in the ground, a signpost you can use later to indicate you've reached your destination and you can close the meeting. This seems obvious, but how many times have you experienced a situation where a decision is made, yet people continue discussing the issue? Of course, you also need a common starting point, so you should set out the current condition or current status. For example, if you're meeting to discuss cost reductions, Your starting point could conceivably be at any point on this list, depending on your history of discussions and decisions. The further down the list you are, the more important it is to agree the starting point in order to avoid backtracking and reworking decisions that are already made. With start and end points defined, you then need to map a route to steer your meeting towards its objectives. And it's important to share this map with the participants right at the start, otherwise they won't see where they or their ideas fit in the process. They'll be anxious to get their point across early, so even before you started the meeting, they'll likely jump in with their views and opinions straight away, destroying any structure you may have thought you had. You then waste time herding everyone back to the starting gate. With the meeting outcome in mind, and a clear roadmap to follow, you should be able to easily determine who are the best people to help achieve your goals, and you should only invite those people who are relevant to the task in hand. There's no reason for a person to be there unless their input is needed to assure quality outputs, so whatever it is you're trying to achieve, this person will add value. Or a second reason for someone to attend is because you need their commitment to ensure successful implementation. Or lastly, you might want to develop someone. Perhaps you want to improve their skills, experience, or their understanding of the company issues and priorities. When inviting participants, you should make clear their role and function in determining the meeting outcome. For example, I'd like a factory operations view of the product design features. Or, I need you to look at this from a customer perspective. Or perhaps, I want you to approve the financial aspects of our plan. Clarifying people's roles massively increases meeting productivity. If you combine all the positive attributes of successful, effective meetings, you'll find you can get much more done in a fraction of the time. But there's one final activity to note. It's essential to document progress. How far have we come? What decisions have we made? What still needs doing? I recommend you document your meeting outcomes, not your inputs. It's not terribly important who said what, unless you're keen to maintain an immature, cover my own bases type of blame culture. On the other hand, it's vitally important to establish what's been agreed, what's been decided or authorized. There are many benefits to be gained from well-run meetings, but the really big spin-off is that lucid, objective meetings nurture clarity across all the other processes in an organization. Clear meetings steer the organization. Vague and insipid meetings create misunderstanding, doubt, conflict, and obfuscation. So the added value of clarity in meetings is that it incubates positive habits and skills which permeate across an organization to create more efficient, more effective working practices, which in turn lead to better results and higher performance. If you need help in improving your meetings or other key business issues, we're here to assist.